and employee ID is not null, right? So we are looking, we should find the here this value department.manager ID is not null and e.department ID is not null. Let's do it how we can solve it. So select employee ID, first name, last name from employee, where employee ID in select manager ID from employees here as the first part, where employee ID in select from employees where manager ID is not null from employees. So we are looking for now, not before, not null. We are looking to employees here. We are looking for the employee ID that exists here. It means that employee ID in this select, okay, and employee ID in select manager ID from departments. This is true. This is true. This is true. So you are selecting the manager ID here. So you are selecting manager ID here from departments, and also you are selecting manager ID from here, the employees, and then you will check employee ID here in this result, in this here. Employee ID is in the list, and is the employee ID in this department? Because here the employee ID is itself the manager ID. Remember, right? I think it's mentioned, right? So, and manager of the column manager ID of the department. So you select from first table as earlier. You check employee ID is within the result of this inner query. And also you should find the employee ID in this selection, which is equal, if this equal to this. Because if the manager ID should, if his manager should equal to employee ID. Remember here. You see? The manager here in the table, in the employee table, is the same as the manager ID in the department, because here comes from department, right? The manager ID comes from department also. So it's the same number. Okay? Okay. We can also solve it using a join. How we can solve it using a join? Let's check. So we are looking to, you join this table with this on department ID or in manager ID. We can solve it in join. I think we have already did it without, we already did it, I think, in the previous example, right? Okay, part 3, part C, direct manager, we want to find direct manager, but not department. Direct here and not department. So this is left join, right? Or if we don't do it left join, it should be here and where employee ID in, here not in. Manager ID, the same query previous, but you should add not in instead of in. Let's check. So select employee ID first name last name from employee ID in select manager ID from employee. It means that we take the employee here that's equal all employees that have the manager ID, so they are managers, and employee ID not in, as I told you, not in, you use and select manager ID from departments. This is easier than the join because from the department we want the manager. We will take all these IDs here, but not equal to this in the manager. Okay, and employee ID not in select manager ID this. So as this here they are empty. So this query should be looks like empty for me. If no one, or it's not empty, it means that we are taking the IDs here that with manager's ID that they don't have the same value here. So we are taking here employee ID which equals to manager IDs because we have in that we are taking this that equals to this, and employee ID also here that doesn't equal to the manager ID selected from the department table. So you take all manager ID in department table. So you take all this in manager table. So imagine this is the table for employee, and imagine that we have another table for the department. So you take all IPs here, our manager IDs, and employees IDs within table employees that are not equal or to values within department table. Employee ID and checks whether on employee's ID exists in the list. Okay, if this is true or not. If it's equal, if this ID equal to some value, true. If not, false. It doesn't take it. Part D now. There is from department where manager ID is not null. Yes, it shouldn't be in departments And the manager ID also shouldn't be null because he's asking but not department. Direct manager but not department. So it should be contained in the table that has manager ID, whereas the manager ID is not null. It shouldn't be in these values. So it means that it should be null. So if it's not in the manager ID from departments with values, it means as we are taking the null values in the department. So the employee ID not in uh, the department that has not in the list of the manager ID resulted from departments that have manager ID is not null. Part D, part E, okay, sorry, here, we're talking here, but we are here. So here we have explained. So employee ID not in select manager from where it's not. I explained this to you. Department manager now. Department managers or direct managers. Department managers or direct. Direct here it's done because we have already did it. So you do this query, the same query, but here or you should use okay, select E, first name, last name from where employee and select from employees where manager ID is not null. Yeah, for sure, because we are looking for department manager or direct manager. It means that the manager ID should not be here empty, is not null. Where manager ID is not null in table employees, that's true. Or employee ID in select